The Icelandic Yule Lads. Icelandic Yule Lads. 13 of them. That's their mother. Let me tell the story of the lads of a few charms, who once upon a time used to visit our farms. 13 altogether, these gents in their prime, didn't want to irk people all at one time. They came from the mountains, as many of you know, in a long single file to the farmsteads below. Creeping up all stealth, they unlocked the door. The kitchen and the pantry they came looking for. Grilla was their mother. She gave them ogre milk. And the father, Lepaludi, a loathsome ilk. They hid where they could with a cunning look or sneer, ready with their pranks when people weren't near. They were called the Yuletide lads. At Yuletide they were due, and always came one by one, never two by two. And even when they weren't seen, they weren't loath to roam and play their tricks, disturbing the peace of the home. The first of them, Sheep Coot Clod. Sheep Coot Clod. Sheep Coot Clod. He came stiff as wood to prey upon the farmer's sheep as far as he could. He wished to get the milk from the ewes, but it was no accident. He couldn't. He had stiff knees. Not too convenient. The second was Gullygawk. Gray was his head and mean. He snuck into the cow barn from his craggy ravine. Hiding in the stalls, he would steal the milk, while the milkmaid gave the cowherd a meaningful smile. Stubby was the third called, a stunted little man who watched for every chance to whisk off a pan, and scurrying away with it, he scraped off the bits that stuck to the bottom and brims, his favorites. The fourth was Spoonlicker. Like Spindle, he was thin. He felt himself in clover when the cook wasn't in, then stepped up and grabbed the stirring spoon with glee, holding it with both hands, for it was slippery. Pot Scraper, the fifth one, he was a funny sort of chap. When the kids were giving scrapings, he'd come to the door and tap, and they would rush to see if there was really a guest. Then he hurried to the pot and had a scraping fest. Bowl Licker, the sixth one, was shocking ill-bred. From underneath the bedstead he stuck his ugly head, and when the bowls were left to be licked by dog or cat, he snatched them for himself. He sure was good at that. The seventh was Door Slammer. A sorry, vulgar chap when people in the twilight would take a little nap. He was happy as a lark with the havoc he could wreak, slamming doors and hearing the hinges on them squeak. Skyr Gobbler. Skyr is a type of yogurt. Skyr Gobbler. There he is, eating his yogurt. Skyr Gobbler was an awful stupid bloke. He lambasted the skyr tub till the lid on it broke. Then he stood there gobbling, his greed was well known, until about to burst he would bleat, howl, and groan. The ninth was Sausage Swiper. Sausage Swiper. Sausage Swiper, a shifty pilferer, and raided food from there. Sitting on a crossbeam in soot and in smoke, he fed himself on sausage fit for gentle folk. The 10th was Window Peeper. Window Peeper. The 10th was Window Peeper, a weird little twit who stepped up to the window and stole a peek through it. And whatever was inside to which his eye was drawn, he most likely attempted to take later on. The 11th was Door Sniffer. Door Sniffer, abnormally large nose and acute sense of smell, which he used to locate sausage. Door Sniffer, a doltish lad and gross. He never got a cold, yet had a huge sensitive nose. He caught the scent of lace bread while leagues away still, and ran toward it weightless as wind over dale and hill. Meat Hook. Meat Hook, the 12th one. Meat Hook his talent would display as soon as he arrived on St. Thorlak's Day. He snagged himself a morsel of meat of any sort, although his hook at times was a tiny bit short. The 13th was called Candlebeggar. Candlebeggar, 'twas cold, I believe, if he was not the last of the lot on Christmas Eve. He trailed after the little ones, who, like happy sprites, ran about the farm with their fine tallow lights. On Christmas night itself, so a wise man writes, the lads were all restrained and just stared at the lights. Then one by one they trotted off into the frost and snow on the 12th night, the last of the lads used to go. Their footprints in the highlands are effaced now for long. The memories have all turned to image and song. The Icelandic Yule Lads.